Want to get into quilting but aren't sure how to get started or what the process is? This video will run through the basic steps of creating a quilt and what resources you'll need. The first step is to decide what kind of quilt top you want to make or what the design of the quilt front is. There are so many different options out there, but it's best to start with something simple and not too big. For the easiest design, you can make a block quilt. Other easy tutorials we have are the chevron quilt top and log cabin. When you're ready to try something a little more challenging, we have tutorials on making a t-shirt quilt top or hexagon-shaped one. See the description for links to all our tutorials showcased in this video. Once you decide what type of quilt you want to make, you have to figure out how much fabric you'll need. See our quilt top fabric calculation video for help on this. The most common types of fabric to use are quilter's cotton or flannel that can be found at fabric stores or quilt shops. You'll typically want to use fabric that's 100% cotton. Using specialty fabrics like satin or knit are not ideal because it can be difficult to sew with or not hold up to washing. Before you cut out your fabric pieces, pre-shrink by washing and drying your fabric. If you don't, you can end up with puckered seams after you wash your quilt. Next, you'll need to cut out your pieces depending on the quilt top design. The pattern should tell you the dimensions and how many you need of each piece to create your blocks or design. The easiest way to cut out your pieces is with a rotary cutter, mat, and ruler. There's also the paper piecing technique that can create quilt tops without precision cutting. See our foundation paper piecing tutorial to learn how it's done. After cutting your pieces, you'll need to start pinning them together. You can use straight pins or clips, but try and be as precise as possible. Start with the pieces inside the block and work your way outward. You'll want to use a 1/4 inch seam allowance. As far as thread is concerned, quilters will typically use a cotton thread, but you can also use all-purpose thread as well. Just make sure you're using a good quality thread brand. After you've sewn your blocks, it's a good idea to square them, which means making them into a perfect square since things can shift as you create them. For help with this, see the link for squaring a quilt block. To finish creating your quilt top, sew all the blocks into rows and then sew the rows together. Again, you want to be as precise as possible to make sure your design and seams line up perfectly. Pin the major seam points first and then pin in between. A good tool to have is a walking foot when sewing, as it makes sure the fabric feeds through the machine evenly and things don't shift as much. With the quilt top done, we can now create the quilt sandwich. This means we have the fabric backing with the batting in between and finally the quilt top on the front. To see how to create this, check out our quilt sandwich video listed in the description. Also shown in this video is how to machine stitch through all 3 layers or adding ties. This is to keep all layers together and prevent shifting. If you like sewing by hand, you can also see a demonstration of sewing through the quilt sandwich in our hand quilting tutorial. The final step to creating a quilt is adding the binding. This is a strip of fabric that's added around the perimeter of the whole quilt to enclose the edges and finish it. Check out our quilt binding video to see a demonstration on how to do this. Creating your own quilt is a fun and relaxing hobby that makes great heirlooms for either yourself, family, or friends. It may seem overwhelming, but you can do it one quilt block at a time. We hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please subscribe and click the bell icon to get notified of our new releases. Also check out ProfessorPincushion.com to view our complete library with well over 450 sewing tutorials. If you would like to directly support us, you can join our YouTube membership and earn some exclusive perks. Thanks for watching!